The hot wind blew dust into my face as I watched the red lights of my parents' car disappear into the dark desert road. I was standing on the side of the highway, holding on to my 6-year-old son, Mason. He didn't have shoes on. He was scared. His little hands held onto my hoodie tightly. His eyes were shiny with tears. "Mommy," he whispered, "are they coming back?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat was burning like I had swallowed fire. The last thing I heard from my parents were the sharp words my father threw at me, "Leeches like you need to learn to crawl." He didn't even look at me. He just opened the back of the car, grabbed my duffel bag, and threw it into the dirt like it was trash. My mom didn't say a word. She sat in the passenger seat with her arms crossed, lips curled like she was disgusted. She just stared. They drove off and left me and Mason alone in the middle of nowhere. "You're 25, Tessa. Stop acting like the world owes you," my mom had said earlier that night. I had come to visit for just 2 days. Mason had fallen asleep when the fight started. It began with a quiet disagreement about money. They wanted the child support I received for a small loan. I said no. And that no turned into yelling. My dad screamed so loud, I thought he was going to crash the car. But I didn't expect this ending. No phone. No food. No water. No help. Just the dark desert, the sound of crickets, and Mason's tiny voice. "Mommy, my feet hurt," he said softly. I knelt down, took off my hoodie, and wrapped it around him. Then I sat beside our bag, holding him close. I hadn't packed for an emergency, just a weekend. All I had in the duffel was a half-eaten granola bar, my old ballet flats, and a few clothes. I slipped the flats onto Mason's bare feet. They were way too big, but he didn't complain. He just sat beside me, curled up on the gravel, using the duffel bag as a pillow. "Try to sleep, baby. I'll figure something out," I whispered. He closed his eyes. I held back my tears. They never wanted me to keep Mason. When I got pregnant at 19, my mom hissed, "You ruined your future." My dad shouted, "No man will marry a girl with baggage." They made me feel like I was broken, like I had made a mistake by having my son. But Mason, he's the only person who's ever looked at me like I matter. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat straight up until the sky turned from black to gray. My back ached. Not a single car passed. I started imagining terrible things, stories in the news about moms and kids found in the desert. I held Mason tighter. Then, just when I thought we might have to walk, I saw headlights in the distance. A pickup truck. It slowed down when the driver saw us. The brakes hissed. A window rolled down. A woman with gray hair and kind eyes leaned out and said, "You two okay?" "Our car broke down," I lied quickly. She looked at Mason, who was still lying on the ground, then looked back at me. She could tell I was lying, but she didn't ask questions. She just said, "Get in." I hesitated. She leaned over and opened the passenger door. "I don't ask twice," she said. So we got in. Her name was Sandra. She didn't ask anything else. She just handed me a bottle of water and turned the heater on. Her truck smelled like lemon and old books. For a while, the only sound was the road and Mason's soft breathing. Then she said something I'll never forget, "You look like someone whose family should be ashamed." I turned my head and stared at her. She gave me a small smile. I was kicked out too. I was pregnant. I was cold. Now I own a mechanic shop and take in girls like you when I can. Looks like I just picked up another. I burst into tears. Sandra took us to her house, a small home behind her shop. She gave us warm food, a soft couch, and a safe place to sleep. But she gave me something even more important, silence. Peace. Time. Time to realize that what my parents did to me wasn't just rude. It was cruel. It was on purpose. They wanted to punish me for saying no. For not obeying. For not being their puppet. It took me 18 days to fully heal. I counted the bruises on my body like they were dates on a calendar. My heels were cracked. My back hurt from sleeping on gravel. Mason's feet were sore. But slowly, we healed. Sandra didn't hover. She gave me space and small jobs. By day 10, I was in the garage with her, helping change oil, rotate tires, and clean tools. She paid me in cash and gave me quiet encouragement. "You're smarter than you look," she said one day, handing me a wrench. "I've always been smart," I replied, wiping my hands. They just never let me show it. One night, Mason was asleep on the couch. I found my old phone and charged it. I opened our family group chat. The last message from my mom said, "You always twist things to make us look bad. No one told you to bring drama into our weekend." Drama. That's what they called leaving me and my child alone in the desert. I stared at that message for a long time. My hands started shaking, not from fear, but from strength. I didn't want revenge. I wanted peace. I wanted distance. I wanted them gone. The next day, I made it real. I changed my last name. Sandra signed the papers with me. We went to the courthouse. I updated my ID, my health card, even Mason's school records. His last name became mine, not my father's. I deleted old accounts, changed my phone number, and got a new email. No one could trace me. But I didn't stop there. I contacted their lawyer. I told him I wanted no part of their estate, their property, or even their name. I had it all notarized. When Sandra asked if I was sure, I said, "They threw me out like trash. I'm just putting the lid on the bin." Then came the hardest part. One night, Mason looked up and asked, "Mommy, why don't we go see Grandma and Grandpa?" I took a deep breath, kissed his forehead, and said, "Because we're building our own family now, one that doesn't hurt people." He blinked, nodded, and never asked again. The more I let go of them, the lighter I felt. I started writing again, little essays and stories. Sandra read one and said, "You've got something. Don't hide it." By the third month, I had 3 part-time jobs, at the garage, at a diner, and writing blog posts. I wasn't fixing my old life. I was building a brand new one. But then something happened. A letter came. It was written in crayon. It said, "Dear Grandma and Grandpa, I love Mommy. You were mean to her. But if you say sorry, maybe we can see you again. Love, Mason." He drew a heart with 3 people in it, 1 smiling, 2 frowning. I froze when I saw it. Sandra walked in and saw the letter. "You going to send it?" she asked. "No," I whispered. "I'm going to show it to them." 3 months later, I drove down the same road where they had left me. But this time, I wasn't crying. I wasn't scared. I wasn't holding Mason. He was at a sleepover Sandra arranged. "You need to do this for you," she said. I stopped down the street from their house. Everything was the same. The clean lawn. The silly garden gnome. That plaque in the window that read "Family is everything." I laughed out loud. I stood on their porch for 10 whole minutes before I rang the bell. My mom opened the door and gasped. "Tessa?" My dad peeked from behind her. "She's back," he said, smug. I knew she'd come crawling. I smiled. I didn't come to crawl. I came to bury. They stared. "Where's Mason?" my mom asked. "Safe," I said. Far from people who think love means control. They tried to talk, explain, spin stories. My dad chuckled, "Still mad about that desert thing? You survived, didn't you?" I pulled out the letter Mason wrote. "This is what you lost." My mom tried to grab it. I pulled it back. It's not yours anymore, I said. You don't get to see what love looks like after you broke it. My dad sneered, so what, you came to throw a fit? I reached into my bag and handed them a small box. Inside were copies of every legal document, my new name, Mason's name, will removal, and a photo of Mason smiling with Sandra on his birthday, the one they missed. I came to erase you completely. My mom looked at the box like it might explode. I turned to leave. My dad shouted, "You think you're better than us?" I stopped at the edge of the porch and turned around. "No," I said calmly. "I know I'm free." And then I walked away. I didn't slam the door. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just left. 2 years later, I stood in front of a classroom full of single mothers. I was a guest speaker at a women's shelter. My name tag said Tessa James. Mason sat in the back, drawing pictures. A woman raised her hand. "How did you do it?" she asked. "How did you get out?" I smiled. I got out when I stopped trying to make broken people protect sacred things. You can't build your future in a house that buried you alive. Outside, the wind picked up. That same dry desert wind. But this time, it didn't sting my face. This time, it felt like freedom. Because they threw me away. So I erased them. And I never looked back. Please like and subscribe for more videos. Also comment where you're watching from.